The Gordon family tree. Many of the guardians were women: Isabella, Emily, Rosa, but also Marcus Gordon, Albert, and Durham. There are records on them in the Vatican Library. The Gordon family men, but also mainly lexicons and biographies about British lords. I found a book about the Guardians here. Mainly lexicons. There's only English literature here, Shakespeare, etc. I've already read them all. A mighty pillar. The wooden cladding is decorated with carvings. A mighty pillar. The wooden cladding is decorated with carvings. A mighty pillar. I let the dictaphone run during the exorcism. I can't understand a word, even though I understand quite a few languages. But that must be a very, very old one. It's for an emergency, in case, yeah, well, Mordred attacks me. Matches. They're from a cafe in London where I met the Archbishop a few days ago. The Bible gave me much strength when I needed it. I think everyone should read it at least once. The Gordon file from the Vatican Archives. The last entry is from 1923. It notes the handing over of the guardian position to Victoria Gordon. Right at the front of the file is a copy of a letter from Marcus Gordon. In it, he says that the entrance to the shade portal is sealed with an altar. The underground chapel was consecrated and prevents the shades from entering the catacombs. The floor of the library is higher than the rest of the rooms on the ground floor. Perhaps the secret entrance is hidden under it. Or maybe just old-fashioned underfloor heating. The floor, perhaps the secret. Your Grace, this is Prioress Antolini. There were complications. The exorcism failed. No, I don't think that was the reason. Yes, but that only makes sense if the demon is unknown. Correct, Your Grace. We underestimated his strength. Father Frederick is dead. He was thrown across the room, and Okay. No, the Guardian is doing well considering the circumstances. Yes, Your Grace, I understand. I also think that the location is crucial. The Guardian had an image of Pictish glyphs with him, the same as those engraved on the shade portal. That's exactly where the demon must be forced back. Yes, into the Black Mirror. It will be no problem to get there. The demon itself tries to force its way to the mirror. It's drawn to it like a magnet. He won't cause us any problems until then. On the contrary, guardian and demon will be hard to keep apart. Yes, that's the other side of the coin. But, Your Grace, the man is probably the only one who can fulfill this task. Yes. Is there an alternative to exorcism? Of course, I'll do that. Alright then. First, I have to find the entrance to the catacombs under the castle. A chapel is mentioned in the records, which is found down there. That's where I guess the Black Mirror is. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Your Grace. Thank you. Good. As long as Adrian is still asleep, I can start looking for a way in. Most secret passageways in old walls have the characteristic of not being sealed completely airtight. That could help me. I've already spoken to the Archbishop. There's no reason to call him again. There were still some old tiles stored in the cellar. If no one had saved them back then the whole floor would have had to been relaid. I wanted the rubble to be stored in the hall, so that the kids that sometimes meet outside the castle don't injure themselves. But I didn't think it would be so much. The Gordon family crest, a shield with blue background and 5 golden lilies. I once saw such a huge globe in the museum in Moscow. It was also made of metal. I remember that Australia was only half depicted on it, because they hadn't yet mapped it out completely when they made it. The entrance to the catacombs used to be under the foundation stone, but Marcus had it sealed off. Now it's only a cellar down there. Now it's only a cellar. I was almost killed by a ceiling beam during the first inspection with the workmen. That's why there are supports in here. The wonderful cutlery didn't survive the fire very well. I've stored the remains in boxes upstairs. A dustpan and brush. These are clearly too small for the current condition of the castle. The electricity in the cellar has been turned off for safety reasons, so unfortunately the light switch doesn't work. Creepy darkness. That reminds me of something very unpleasant from my childhood in the convent. The wine barrels have been empty for decades. The last generation of Gordons were tea drinkers. The sewer system under the castle couldn't deal with all that firefighting water. 3 weeks ago, the water in the cellar was still up to my knees. It'll be months before anyone will be able to access the sewer system without diving equipment. The well seems to be dry. A water pump. The workmen brought it with them to pump out the cellar. This was actually only rented for a week. The well seems to be dry. That's the main switch for the cellar. The electricity has been switched off completely for safety reasons. Can't get any further here. The corner's just a last resting place for junk. I'm sure there's wine stored in these barrels. The source of the fire was here in the kitchen. The room up there was the butler's room, I think. I didn't even like horses when I was a little girl. I prefer small animals. A plain marble pedestal. I almost like it more than the sculpture on it. A statue of the Virgin Mary. She was venerated for her humility and her firm belief in God. Greg was going to repair the grandfather clock, but he never got around to it. Black mold. According to Greg, it was caused by the extinguishing water, which offers an excellent breeding ground for molds once it's soaked into the walls. Black mold. There are only Victoria's papers here. Bank statements, bills, and so on. They're of no use. I don't see any way to get through this door. When I first came here, this room wasn't being used. I've had everything that's still usable brought into here. Paintings tell a lot about the period in which they were painted. Fortunately, these ones weren't too badly damaged by the fire. Lady Victoria was always very vigilant when I was in the room. I hardly had the chance to have a look around. Well, she'd understand now. Victoria's dressing room. The only area in this room I could have a look at. But in vain, though. There really are only clothes here. I completely forgot about the machines. As soon as all of this is over, I'll have them picked up. Just a minute. There's a syringe here with adrenaline in it. I'll take it with me just in case of an emergency. The image of a beautiful woman. I'm thinking that must be Maria. Those are all things that were close to Victoria's heart. But there's nothing of interest to me there, though. Even though she was really ill in her final days, she still set great store in keeping a well-groomed appearance. There's only jewelry in here. 2 necklaces, a pair of earrings, and rings. It's all silver and stylish. The jewelry case weighs at least 5 kilos. And what is that? There's some kind of flap on the underside. But how do I open it? I can't see any keyhole or anything like that. I'll show it to Adrian as soon as he's awake. Perhaps he knows something about it. Adrenaline. It's usually administered intravenously and ensures that the cardiovascular system works again within seconds. Victoria's jewelry casket. There's a kind of secret compartment on the bottom side, but I can't open it. Adrian is still asleep. I'll leave him in peace. The entrance to the catacombs must be in the castle. I'll only get wet outside. The entrance to the catacombs must be in the castle. I'll only get wet outside. Now it's only... flame flickers here. There's a draft, and this room has no windows. I guess there's a cavity behind or in the pillar. But how do I get at it? Why didn't I think of that sooner? This plate can be removed. There's a metal wall behind it. And there's a strangely shaped hole in it too. A keyhole, I guess. The hole is the shape of a cogwheel. A normal key definitely doesn't fit in here. I've already spoken to the Archbishop. There's no... Adrian, how are you doing?
Hungover. What happened?
You suddenly lost consciousness during the exorcism.
Did it work? Is Mordred gone? What about my eyes? Are they still black?
Your eyes are normal again, at least for the moment. But I'm afraid that it won't stay like that for long.
I guessed as much. Why am I in the castle? I thought it wasn't safe here.
That's true, but I had no other choice. Edward helped me bring you here.
Edward? And where is Father Frederick?
He's still in the church. We're going back to him later. There were a few complications.
So, it didn't work?
Unfortunately not. It doesn't seem Mordred can be cast out with prayers alone.
Strange. It always seems to work in the movies.
Maybe it was the wrong script.
The Bible. Yeah.
Father Frederick is out of it. Mordred's power was too much for him. We'll have to be quick if we're going to save you.
What are we waiting for then? I feel almost good. At least I'm ready for the final spurt.
I have another idea of how we can get rid of Mordred. But for that, we must go to the Black Mirror, where the curse began.
Where everything began. Victoria told me exactly that. Shortly before she died. I should go to where everything began, but I've got no idea where that is and how to get there.
I found something interesting in the library. I think it's some kind of secret door to the catacombs.
A secret door in the library? Let me guess. It's locked, right? And you've got no idea how to open it.
I was hoping you could help me.
Why not? I haven't got anything else planned.
Have you got any idea how to open this? I mean the secret compartment on the bottom. Seems to be a very complicated mechanism. Of course, there's that way too. A golden sword hilt from Victoria's jewelry casket. It's decorated with 4 gemstones, probably rubies. There's a 5th socket there too, but it seems there's a stone missing.
Valentina,
Yes.
the room in which Mordred crossed over into me, do you know anything about it?
What kind of room was it?
A kind of ritual chamber. Skulls everywhere, a throne.
They investigated a ritual chamber in the old academy, but all the records were lost in a fire around 1512. And the knowledge of it was lost in the process as well. So no, I know even less about it than you do.
So what actually is this black mirror then?
We think it's a kind of portal.
And where does it lead?
Nobody knows exactly, and it's a dangerous thing to investigate. Mordred tried, but the Black Mirror enslaved them. Pope Innocent III believed it might lead to the destruction of Christianity. What we know for sure is that it's older than anything else on Earth.
I thought it might have been built by pagan druids or something like that.
It's much older than that. The Druids used it for ceremonies, yes, but they definitely didn't build it. It's been there since the dawning of time, so they say.
Holy crap. So what is it then?
We can only speculate. The mirror attracts evil, or how should I put it? Absorbs it. According to the old Druidic scriptures, there were regular human sacrifices. Apparently, the altar table in front of the Black Mirror portal was already drenched in century-old blood back then. The souls of the sacrifices are drawn into the mirror, but only if they're absolutely evil. The soul of a good person cannot enter the mirror. It seems to be something like... yes, like...
The gateway to hell, perhaps?
yes. And no, not just the gate, but the mirror too. Glancing into it reveals the innermost self. It reflects the soul for everyone to see.
I wonder what the Pope would see if he looked into it. And all the dignitaries of the world. No wonder the entrance has to be guarded. But times have changed. Why don't we just have a look at the thing? Purely scientifically, I mean.
Evil can also break out of the mirror. Its effect is unbound. You can feel its power yourself. Who's ever susceptible is enticed into evil. That's why life in the castle is so dangerous. It's right within its sphere. Mordred was changed. The spark of evil that always smoldered within him was fanned into a blazing fire. He did everything he could to open the portal. Rumors suggest that he almost found the mechanism.
Someone's leaving me messages describing the virtues of a guardian. You don't happen to know anything about that, do you?
I wrote them. They were tests to see if you could become the next guardian in spite of the curse. I had assumed that apart from Victoria, there was only Angelina, but she was nowhere to be found. There was no time. Victoria lay on her deathbed. She was the last guardian. It had to be settled. When we heard that you were maintaining that you were a Gordon and were also innocent of any crime, then the Vatican changed its plan. We had to assure ourselves that you were still of pure heart. And you passed all the tests.
But you weren't there.
True. I wasn't there.
All right, Miss Undercover. A whole load of photos of my pair of pliers. The grave candle that was in front of the photos of my parents. It's only burned halfway down. Some pliers. Very important. Massive block of stone with a secret compartment, but there's nothing in it. I had already discovered it before the castle fire. A massive block. The globe is metal. I can't see a weld seam. I wonder how they got it through the door. The globe is metal. It is half full of a white salt, probably for when it's icy. I'll take a handful of grit salt with me, just in case I have to help some old grandma cross an icy street. A power socket, but does it have an electricity supply? A power socket. So now I've got the option to connect something up down there. I won't be able to see a thing down there. I should get myself some light first. A candle for the dead. There's a thick electric cable hanging from the roof, just above a puddle of water. Craig was right. It isn't safe down here. I need more light. I need more light. A construction light, just like the ones all around the castle, except without any power. Empty. I'm guessing that they used to store wine or beer here back in the day. Those days are long gone, though. I need more light. Boxes of empty wine bottles. Just in case there's a life for me after Mordred, I'm gonna give this castle a real cleanup and throw it all of this old junk. Well, I'll hand the job over to Edward, of course. I need more light. Here's the end of the extension cable. Energy. There are drains under the puddles, but the sewer system couldn't cope with the huge volume of extinguishing water. The water isn't draining away anymore. There are drains under the puddle. A shelf of wine bottles. As far as I can tell, they're all still full. 1953. Either extremely valuable or completely disgusting. There are only busted boxes and barrels back there. Cellars are often used as the last resting place for all sorts of heavy junk, and it's no different in British castles. At first glance, there's nothing useful leaping out at me here. At the second one, too. Must be a seriously heavy water bucket if you need a chain like that to lift it. There's no water in the well, at least not as far as I can see. That's quite strange. A dry well in the middle of a flooded cellar. There's no water. That's quite strange. That's the water pump, which they use to pump away the extinguishing water. It's a real monster, and ancient, too. I'm surprised that thing even works. The wire rope is wrapped tightly around the pipe. I guess it's an earth for the water pump. I'll put the cable into the connecting terminal on the pump. No idea what kind of pipes those are. Water or sewage, I guess. There are two huge water basins here. They must go back to when they had no running water. that's the power connection for the water pump. I guess there were no power plugs back then. Oh, that's just one pole. Does this thing use direct current? So that thing on the pipes isn't an earth. It's probably the second pole. You can turn the pump on and off with that. You can even adjust the direction of rotation and the speed. Theoretically, I could pump the cellar full of water again, slowly or quickly. Quite a clear design. The motor's on the right, the pump device is on the left. The two are connected with a long shaft. The power cable is now hanging through the grill and straight into the water. There are drains. If it weren't for me being a former student of physics, I'd call that kind of action suicide. Now the end of the cable's hanging directly in the water. There are drains under the puddles, but the sewer system couldn't cope with the huge volume of extinguishing water. The water isn't draining away anymore. I guess that's the main switch for the electricity in the cellar. Who needs fuses if you've got such a big lever? The electricity is on. I should be careful where I step and what I touch. The electricity is off again. The electricity is on. I should be careful where I step and... The innards of a water pump. The innards of a The construction works, but there's not much electricity getting to it. The water doesn't conduct very well. I'll give the pepper and chilies a miss. The puddle's seasoned enough. That looks good. Here's to electricity. electricity. The innards of a water pump. The rope's much too thin to use for climbing. The rope's much too thin. If I wrapped the chain around the drive shaft, I could use the water pump as a winch. I hope the motor's powerful enough. I can't wind the chain anymore. Something's blocked.
What are you up to? I'm impressed.
I wouldn't know what I might ask her. This black mold is spreading everywhere. My telephone. My family tree. Gonna need the right key for that. No idea what's supposed to fit in here.
I don't know how you operate the machine, and I don't want to know. The well seems to be dry. There's nothing to discuss with Adrian right now.
I wouldn't know what I might ask her.
There's nothing to discuss with Adrian. Even if he desperately wanted to, there's just no time for it right now. No, we've got more important things to do right now. Adrian can always read that later. The hole is the shape.
Piss and rain out. Whatever it is that's hanging on the chain, I can't see it from here. The well is deeper than I thought. My improvised chain winch. I'm quite proud of it. Something's blocking the chain. It can't be pulled any higher. The rope's much too thin to use for climbing.
There's nothing to this.
My improvised... Whatever it is that's hanging... I wouldn't know what I might ask. I wouldn't know what I might ask. The rope's much too thin to use. The inner walls of the well are a dark black. The weak light from the grave candle would get swallowed up immediately. And then there's gotta be water down there somewhere. A candle won't be much use then. May I tie you up?
What? No!
That was a joke. And what are we gonna do with it now? Any ideas? I wouldn't know what I might ask her.
The rope's no good for climbing, not strong enough. The well seems to be dry. There's nothing to discuss with Adrian right now. I let the dictaphone run during the exorcism. I can't understand a word. even though I understand quite a few.
The thing's either busted or there's something missing. No idea what's supposed to fit in here.
Adrian? It's not working. You think that's because of the missing gemstone?
Could be possible. The question is, where is this stone? Could be anywhere. Could have been lost hundreds of years ago.
I don't think so. If the key had been broken for a long time, why did Victoria hide it? No. I think the stone is missing intentionally, as an added safeguard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but where should we start looking?
Did Victoria give you anything before she died? An heirloom, jewelry, a signet ring?
Not to me, but Angelina.
What?
Her bracelet, she showed it to me. Yes, I remember well. There were rubies on it too. Perhaps we need one of them?
And where is the bracelet now?
The police evidence locker.
Then get it. We don't have much time.
I don't want to bump into Joyce looking like this. She's always believed in the good in me. I don't want to shake that belief. Strange. It's never been so quiet here before.
Adrian! It's done. Case closed. Angelina's letter convinced the judge completely.
Some good news.
A lot more than that. And is there anything I can do for you?
Now with the case closed, all of the pieces of evidence are no longer required, right?
In theory, not anymore, no.
Then it wouldn't be a problem if I got the bracelet back. You do know that it's a family heirloom.
I'll see what I can do.
Thanks.
Zach!
Please.
How's it looking with your transfer?
Now that's lying on my boss's desk. And knowing him like I do, he's gonna let me stew for a while. But it'll come through sooner or later.
Goodbye.
Fare thee well, my lord.
I'll just leave him in peace for now. I'm not going back there voluntarily. I don't have any further questions. Huh? Telephone booth is locked? So what? Do people make too many calls in the night? The bracelet is an old family heirloom. It's made of silver and is decorated with rubies. It's not that easy. I've got to get the stone out of the socket first. 1 ruby's enough. The ruby fits exactly into the socket on the hilt of the sword. Sunglasses? They've got to be from Edward. Actually, an umbrella would be better right now. But what the hell? Sunglasses. Probably from Edward, or my black eyes. It looks like the gardener is the murderer, or like Lewis got wrapped up with a murderess. I wouldn't know what I might. There's a spiral staircase here. I can't see how far down it goes. It has to be a good few stories. Ladies first.
Are you scared? Or are you exercising your role as lord of the manor?
The Guardian isn't allowed to die. Those were your words. I'm just playing it safe. That's supposed to be the catacombs? Looks like the sewer system.
Patience. This is just the beginning.
Damn. And I thought I'd pulled the plug out of the bath. Valentina.
Yes.
I can't see any other exit here. Can you?
Looks like we're in a dead-end street.
But it can't be, though. It has to continue somewhere. Maybe there's another secret passage.
Certainly not out of the question. Keep your eyes open.
What do you think's going on with this cage?
I don't think that's a cage, in the usual sense.
How come? Isn't it a wonderful torture device, especially with the water?
Oh, right. So that's your interpretation of a normal cage usage.
Don't forget, I'm being possessed by an 800-year-old tyrant.